Morning. Again, a big welcome. I won't take up much time, but I did think it would be important just to set the scene in terms of why Profera got involved with this. So when we were having that conversation in the summer, why we thought this is going to be a really good idea. And we just like solving problems, and this looks like the perfect storm. Social media and kind of local search and hyperlocal, all of those individually are a big phenomena and changing the way that organizations are structured and undermining traditional business models and creating opportunities. And this just brought those two elements together in a forum for open discussion. We sort of had to get involved. It had to happen. So, we're kind of delighted everybody's made the effort to be here. We're very excited about the agenda, the speakers. We've organized everything to promote discussion and dialogue, and that's really part of the thinking in terms of the size of the event. It was invitation only, it's small, it's intended to be focused. So, please get involved, please kind of ask questions when the panels happen. My job is going to be to try to keep everything to time and introduce everybody. So I'll start with, without further ado, our keynote speaker, Robert. That wasn't in the script. Ow, we're going to get somebody to look into that. So Robert, that's great, yes, pardon me, it was a late night. Robert's address will I think set the scene really well. It's so off-putting, so you're going to hate this. It's understanding who's out there, the 15 to 30-year-old, the Generation Y, the user. What are they like? And actually, it's quite a good thing that it's swapped around in terms of the agenda, because it will create a great backdrop for how the rest of the conversation, the rest of the agenda flows. So Robert runs is a founder of a boutique consultancy, set it up 15 years ago in Canada, has been doing a whole bunch of research around the world, and has recently set up in London as well. So he decodes young adults and youth and families, and we're kind of fascinating to hear what he's got to say. He's been teasing us with the fact that it might be controversial, but I don't know. So I'll hand over to Robert. Thank you.
Because a few things, I know we're just getting started today, but there's a few things that I'm not. One thing I'm really not is an expert on social media or local media. I've also got a bit of a cold, so if I start hacking up a lung, I'll try to do it away from the microphone, and I'll get my glass of water. One thing I am is I am someone who's spent the last 15 years just looking into how to build relationships with young people. When I say young people, we look from everything from pre-teenagers right through to young families. And over the years, and especially in the last, say, 3 or 4 years, the idea of social media and local media has started to pop up in our conversations with our clients. And I always like to we do a lot of work with private sector, public sector, and the not-for-profit sector. And I always like to use government as a gauge to what seems to be the coolest thing going. Because when governments want to communicate with young people, they always try to jump on the brand new technology and do something with it. So it started out with video, send in your video competitions. Then it was, we got to get on MTV. And then it was, we got to launch a website. And now all they keep talking to us about is, what are we going to do on Facebook? So they don't really think about what they want to do, but they certainly keep asking us about what's going on with young people and how do we communicate, how do we build a relationship with young people. And that goes not only with governments, but large corporations and basically anyone who's interested in young people. So we've been kind of hanging out a little bit in the background, and we've decided that we want to now jump a little bit into the foreground and do some front-end research to find out what's really going on with young people and social media. So the first thing we did is last year around February, we did a large kind of 3-country study. We looked into Canada, we looked into the US, and we looked into the UK. And we did interviews with literally thousands of young people. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to find a kind of poster child for social media. So I found him. Let's see if, okay. There he is. And he is really our guy. He's 16 years old, and he lives near New York City, interests, sports, gaming, comedy, music, Just some of the things he likes and doesn't like to do. Like he avoids companies who are not environmentally friendly. He's always, he recycles, kind of an environmental guy. Thinks organic food is better than regular food. He trusts brand name products versus generic kind of products. He would rather go to an independent store rather than a big box store. He doesn't pay for any of the music that he listens to. Kind of a bit classic in that respect. Let's see what else we can find out about him. So in the last 12 months, sorry, we'll go back one. You now know how many friends he has. In the last 12 months, he's socially responsible. He's helped a neighbor, signed a petition, he's visited online forums. If he had his choice, he would give money to the developing world. So he's got a heart. That's good. Not sure. Sometimes people don't think young people do have a heart, but they do. Huge Obama supporter. Really confident, really kind of future focused, thinks he's going to really make it in the world. Spends 2 hours a day connecting with his friends online. 2 hours a day, which is, in the scheme of things, that's an enormous amount of time in his day. When I took a look at his entire day in the interview, that was a big chunk of his day. And he really only consumes digital media. So he doesn't consume anything that's what would be consumed as far as traditional media. No newspapers, no radio, some of those traditional media. He's absolutely rejected all of them. So he really is our poster child. And as you already saw, he's got 5,000 digital friends. Now, some people might say, can he really have 5,000 friends? Anyone in this room have 5,000 friends? Just put up your hand. Not even close? Who's got the most? Let's just a little competition to start out. Who has the most friends? Let's start at, does anyone have 4,000, 3,000? How about 1,000? Oh, 3,000? No, 3,000 is a lot. I looked through. They're not just real. Oh, well, let's come back to that idea. So he has 5,000 friends, and I looked through his interview, and I went, does he really have 5,000 friends? And he was actually pretty. When you do an interview with someone, you can tell whether they're in a sense, you can kind of tell whether they're lying or not by there's a number of questions you put in just to kind of trick them to see if they're going to lie on everything. And it's possibly exaggerated a little bit, but let's say he's got 5,000 friends. The next question we asked him was, okay, so we asked him how many face-to-face friends he has, how many friends he has that he communicates by phone, either mobile phone or landline phone. So we have all that information. We said, if you had to call and if you had to set up dinner with a friend, which communication method would you use? And he'd call them. He's got 5,000 digital friends. He spends 2 hours a day online with his friends, but if he wants to go to dinner with one of his friends, he just gives them a call. That sort of struck us as a bit interesting. Here is someone who is the poster child for social media. When it comes to something somewhat important, or as far as back to our 3,000 friend person at the back here, when it comes to someone that he maybe a real friend, he gives them a call. So we're going to keep that in mind.